Ladies and gentlemen, today on Poland Daily History, we will explore in depth the history of the szabla, or the Polish saber. This is the weapon that is immortalized by the Polish wing hussars that spread fear throughout European history, and it was used to save Christianity in the famous Battle of Vienna. Today, we will talk to the expert, Marcin Bach, an instructor of fencing and historical fencing, and later on in the program, he will teach us a few moves. As time progresses, older weapons used to get phased out, but as I know that the Polish state saber is still in use even throughout the 20th century during the Bolshevik Wars, and I was wondering what's its significance during the wars.
Rzeczywiście broń biała była.
The weapon was used in the 20th century by all armies, in fact, including the Polish one. Perhaps it wasn't like in previous ages, but the saber still had a role to play.
Odegrała jeszcze swoją rolę, szczególnie w wieku XX.
Particularly in 1920, during the Bolshevik War. We have a model of this exact saber. It's a saber from 1917. One of the models used by the Polish cavalry in 1920 against Russian sabers, such as the Szaszka, used by the Red Cossacks. It was also used in one of the greatest last cavalry battles of Komarov on August the 31st, 1920, where the Polish Uhlans battled the Cossacks with sabers and lances. This was probably the last battle in the history of the world where bladed or edged weapons such as lances and sabers played a large role, actually a decisive role. It should be remembered that the saber wasn't only in the Polish cavalry. Up to the Second World War, a weapon like this, or a similar one, was used by all the armies of the world. In 1933, the American cavalry stopped using sabers. British cavalry stopped using sabers in 1941, so during the Second World War. Japanese cavalry used sabers until the end of the war. The Russian cavalry also used it until the end of the war. Part of the Italian's army were armed with sabers, so it isn't as though Poles were some kind of relic of history. However, it's true that we placed a great deal of importance on this weapon, as it was respected as a historic weapon.
Ceniono tą broń jako broń historyczną.
There are historical records of the sabers being used even all the way till the Second World War. Yes. And I was hoping you can elaborate on how it was used by the Polish cavalry against the Germans.
Mamy rzeczywiście dobrze udokumentowane przykłady użycia szabli.
We have well-documented examples of the Polish cavalry using sabers against the Germans. And these are only charges and attacks by the cavalry against German infantry, and usually when it was resting and were caught off guard. A popular myth, which is completely untrue, is the story of an attack by Polish cavalry on German tanks. Nothing like this ever happened. It must be remembered that these were very well-trained soldiers, led by an elite of Polish army officers. These people were level-headed. They were not madmen. The Polish cavalry fought against tanks, but they then fought on foot, using anti-tank guns, anti-tank rifles and grenades, while horses were used as a means of transport for moving about on the battlefield. If there was a command to charge, and it's true there were such cases, it was only when the opponent was taken by surprise. They were resting and marching, and it was only infantry. Nobody sane would decide to attack tanks with a saber.
So about the myth that you were mentioning about the Polish cavalry fighting tanks, where did that come from? Is there a source for it?
An Italian war correspondent, who actually wished the Poles well, wrote about a real charge, not on tanks, but on infantry. A charge at Walka Węglowa, a victorious one, with many casualties on the Polish side. but still victorious. Later, this write-up was manipulated by German propaganda, which began spreading the myth that the Poles were attacking tanks. Then the Germans went as far as to shoot a supposed documentary, which was, in actual fact, scripted and showed Polish cavalry, who, in reality, were Germans, supposedly attacking tanks. This film was then shown in cinemas around occupied Europe, and that's how this myth became widely believed. Then, after the war, a Polish director, Andrzej Wajda, didn't help things by creating a feature film in which this myth was unfortunately repeated.
W którym ten mit został niestety powielony.
Position. You can hit me in my head, but you can also hit me in my arm. Yes. This is the simply way to win in a duel. Slowly. Okay. Faster. Faster, but you have to work with your wrist. Only with your wrist. Oh, yes. This way. Okay. Slowly. Yes. 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 Relax. Yes. Okay. And the same way you can cut my arm inside. Huh? Yes. This is the target. This is the target. Yes. 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 And outside. Yes. Yes. Okay. With steps. Now, this. Yes. 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 More faster. And you can hit me in my head when I lower my weapon to my rib, if you see the blade, or in my arm. Ready?
Oh.
Faster. Yes. To my head. Yes. Yeah. Once again. Yes. Yes. Now. Head. Now, relax yourself.
All right.
And once again. Hit me. Yes. Yes. Faster, faster. Arm. Hand. Oh. Forearm. Yes. 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 Ah! No. No. Once again.
All right.
This, yes. To my head. Once again. Yes. 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 Once again. Yes. Yes. Very good. Okay. Relax.
Today we have explored the history and the usage of the Polish szabla that is iconic to Poland history and have been with Poland throughout years of war. And that's it for today. I'll see you next time on Poland Daily.